Hi and welcome to my very first tutorial on Pinnacle Studio 12 Plus. In this video I am going to show you how to make a customized DVD disc menu. So what I have done here is I've imported some video that we're going to play around with today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drag the whole video onto the timeline, and that's just done simply by highlighting all the clips and dragging and dropping onto the timeline below. As you can see, it's been dragged and dropped onto the timeline, and as you can see it is about 4 minutes long. Also you notice that it's going off the edge of the screen, so what I'm going to first do is I'm going to shrink the timeline so the whole video is on one screen. It makes it a little bit easier for editing. Something like that. Great. What I'm going to do is just going to tidy some things up that I don't want in here. Alright, now that we've got the finished video, it's time to create a menu. So first of all you have to select show menus. As you can see, it's loaded up the standard menus, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the most simplest menu because it will be easier to edit and it will be easier to delete stuff that we don't want on the menu. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use this one, which is the standard menu, and we're just going to basically drag and drop that onto the timeline. Great. So the first thing it's asking you is for a minimum chapter length. Now depending on the length of your video, if you have a video which is an hour long, I would recommend that you have chapters every 6 minutes in a 1 hour movie. So what you'll need to do in order to do that is you need to work out how many seconds there are in 6 minutes and put in the value here. I'm going to stick to the 30 seconds simply because my video clip is too short, and I would like to have quite a few chapters. So we press OK. Great, and as you can see it has created a very basic menu. And it's added that to the timeline, and as you can also see it's added chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 and so on. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to see if we can set the DVD to go back to the menu when it reaches the end of the movie. So to do that, basically you go to the end of the movie, and inside the frame with the picture you would press the right mouse button and then select set return to menu, that one, and then press OK, and as you can see it has created M1, and M1 means menu 1. So when the DVD gets to the end of the movie it will return to the DVD menu at the beginning. Now what we have to do is we have to ensure that the menu is back at chapter 1, otherwise it will cause issues when you are editing the menu. So what I mean by that is, at the moment we are on chapter 8 over there, and chapter 8 over there, and what we want is we want to be back at chapter 1. So to do that, you basically press this button here, and it will go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there we go. So it's now returned to chapter 1, and I recommend that you do that each time. Otherwise, when you create a menu, it may create multiple pages on the menu, and we're just going to have a single paged menu with a custom background. So now that we've done that, we will now edit the menu by clicking on Edit Menu. And Edit Menu will bring up this editing screen. And as you can see, there are quite a few items on the screen, and all of them are editable and deletable. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of everything that we don't want, and the aim of this exercise is to have a single paged menu with a custom background. So in order to do that, we will delete everything we don't need. So we do that by clicking on the item and then pressing the delete key. Now, deleting these thumbnails will not delete the chapters which you've put onto the timeline. And since it's going to be only one page, we get rid of the next page and the previous page options. Okay, so now we've got rid of those, I will show you how to edit the text, because the text itself is a button. So when you click on it, as you see, these two items are grouped together. So if I move this, it'll move that around, but we don't want to get rid of the star here. So to do that, we press this one, which is the ungroup button. Ungroup. So we click on that one. As these two items are now ungrouped, I can delete this individual picture. So I'll just delete it. Right. Now there's one other important thing about menus, is it has to do with these red dotted lines that you see here. Now the red dotted lines, the square, is basically what you will see on your TV screen when you put the DVD into the DVD player. So anything which is outside of the red square will not be shown on the TV screen, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'll drag this, so if you would put this here, you would not see it on your TV screen because it's below the center box. If you were to put it here, you will see the I, half the I and the N, and the same with the top. If you do it like this, you will see the top half will be cut off. So, and that is important when you are planning on doing a menu with how much stuff you can fit on the main menu to begin with, is all dependent on the inside of this red box. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to justify, this is actually a button, and we're going to be using it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to justify the button to be center middle of the screen, and to do that you have to go down to here, justify, and then select there, and as you can now see, it is centered inside this square box. Okay, so we're not quite finished yet. There's a few things we first need to do. The first thing we need to do is change the type of button. It is because it's currently a root button, and because we've only got one page, we don't need the option to go back to the root menu, which is the first page. So one page doesn't need a root button. So what we need to do is we need to change this into a play button. So when this menu comes up, all that would happen is it will play the video. So to change the type of button, first of all make sure it's highlighted, then go up to here, which is buttons, and press that one, and as you can see here it says root button. So we're going to change that into a normal button. Right, so a normal button is basically a simple play button. So when you put the disc in and you press OK or play on your DVD player, it will start from chapter 1. And that also means that it's only going to be one page. So you must remember to make this a normal button, otherwise the menu will not work correctly when you play it back on your TV. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the word main here to be the word play, and you simply click inside the box and you get the T there, and you just backspace, 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 and you type P-L-A-Y, play. Great, so now when I press on it, it says play, play, and it is a normal button. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the background. Pinnacle Studio allows you to import or use backgrounds that came with the program. I would recommend that you do not do that. The reason is that the backgrounds are usually JPEGs, and when it makes the video into a DVD format, it will re-render the JPEG, and what you'll end up with is a dithered background. So what I would suggest you do for the moment is make the background simply transparent, and then we will add our own bitmap image, which is not compressed, to the timeline. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll get rid of the background here. We do that by going up to backgrounds, and then we're going to just stick with transparent. And as you can see now, the background is grey, which basically means it's transparent. So then we press OK. Okay, so the next thing we have to fix up is each of the chapter titles need to be renamed as well, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So at the moment we're on chapter 1, and that one is called play. If we go to chapter 2, you'll notice that the time has moved to chapter 2, but you'll also notice that the name is chapter 2. So what we have to do is we have to change each one of those to play. So we basically click in there, highlight, and then type in capital letters to match the main menu, play. Quite simple. here's the final chapter. Great. So again, once you've done that, I recommend setting the going back to the first chapter using the arrows here. So 7, 6. So just keep clicking there until you're back to number 1. It's important that you do that each time, otherwise when you render the menu there may be some problems with it. Great. So now that's done, close this window by pressing the X up here, and we now go back to this menu and we go to show photos and frame grabs. So this is reading off my local hard disk, as you can see, pictures, and I'll just choose a simple picture to use as a background, and this is just a bitmap image, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the special transparency timeline. This timeline is used for chroma keying as well as for transparent if you're using transparencies. So we drag this one on here to here, and if you have a look here now, we can see our play button, which is white, which is a bit hard to see, but it's also has now got a bitmap image as the background. So, and looking here, you'll notice that the menu, the length of time that the menu is going to play back is longer than the amount of the picture. So what we have to do is have to add multiple copies of the same, and to do that you drag and you drop, drag and drop, and now when we have a look, you've got 3 images. There are no gaps between each of the pictures, because if there's a gap it will basically show you a black screen and then the picture will flicker back onto the screen. So you've got to make sure that all those 3 pictures are joined together. Now we've done that, let's change the colour of the lettering for the play button so it's readable, because at the moment, as you can see, it's quite hard to read amongst the other colours. So we basically right click on this, on the menu, M1, and then we go to title and menu editor, and we're back into the menu editor, and we highlight this, and basically we will use this here, which is looks, and we're going to go to custom, and here we have some options regarding the color of the font, and as you can see the font face is currently white. So we're going to change that by clicking on it, which will bring up the color pop-up box, and we're just going to choose another color, just random color, to make it stand out from the background, and then we press OK, and as you can see below, the color has changed from white to purple, and hopefully when we press OK, there we go, it is readable. Play. Great. So that's it really. So I'll show you how the menu will play back, and to do that, to test what it will be like when you have it into the DVD player, you need to press on this button here, and this now is a DVD player remote, and what should happen is the M1, menu 1, should keep going, will keep looping until you press the play button. So I'll show you that right now. Okay. So as you can see, the T bar is moving along, and then at the end it will go back to the beginning. And then we basically, so that's menu will go on and on and on until you press the play button on the remote, which is the center one, which is that one. Select, so press select and it will hop straight to chapter 1. And when it reaches the end, the last chapter, this is how you change the chapter. Skip through the chapters. When it hits the M1, it will go back to the beginning of the clip. So watch this bar. It will go to M1, and then it will return to the beginning. There we go. That's it. Basically, that is how you create a simple custom menu. If you find this tutorial useful, please leave some comments below. If you'd like to ask me on how to do specific things in Pinnacle Studio, please leave me a comment below, and please subscribe. Thank you for watching.